So I'm supposed to believe that you can get banned for too many flip resets in Rocket League? Well, at least that's the first thing the freestyle community tried to convince me when several month-long bans were recently handed out by Psyonix. Of course, the reality is the act of freestyling itself had little to do with the unsportsmanlike bans. Instead, this was about smurfing in casual. Yes, while there are no ranks, the casual playlists do have MMR, or matchmaking rating. If you've ever wondered what your casual MMR is, you can actually look it up on the Rocket League Tracker website or app. But to illustrate the point of this video, let's take the casual rating of a well-known Rocket League freestyler and plot out some comparisons. Here's Musty's casual MMR, here's my casual MMR, and finally, here's the casual MMR of my 10-year-old son. I think it's pretty clear what the issue is here. Now, while the Rocket League Tracker website is an important tool for a content creator trying to compare casual MMR or the ranks of video participants, the Rocket League Tracker app can also be very useful to a player like you. Whether it's checking out your teammates and opponents' ranks and history before each game, or analyzing your own statistics and progress over time, the Rocket League Tracker app gives you a free and easy way to access all that data that's usually hidden behind the scenes. So if you want to see how this app can help your game, just click my link in the description below to download and install today's sponsor, the Rocket League Tracker app. Now let me start out by saying, over the last week, the freestyle community has brought up some legitimate concerns about this complicated issue. The problem is, they wrap those points with entitled tone-deaf complaints and a clinical lack of self-awareness that both weakens their arguments and how the freestyle community is viewed as a whole. So I thought it would be fun to explore this by way of some of the worst freestyler hot takes of this incident. But I do want to warn my freestyle viewers, you might not like some of the things I'm about to say, especially since you're stuck sitting there with no real way to respond or challenge. But let me remind you, this is a casual video, which means you're free to leave at any time. Though before you do, I want to point out that most people who watch my videos are genuinely entertained by them, and even inspired to create YouTube content themselves. Our story starts on October 5th, when multiple freestylers took to Twitter to proclaim they were somehow being banned for no reason at all, which quickly turned to banned for freestyling as the posts were shared around. It is pretty telling that while freestylers were complaining they had no idea what was happening, regular players in the comments seemed to have easily figured it out. Imagine being a 6,000 hour player that spends most of their time in 600 MMR lobbies and typing out unironically, "I was banned for no flipping." On October 7th, Psyonix finally responded with a post to the Rocket League subreddit. Of course, the bans had nothing to do with freestyling. It just so happens that freestyle accounts were the ones own-goaling, forfeiting while winning, and even toying with their opponents for up to 5 minutes of overtime in lobbies way below their skill level. In fact, I actually have a game from one of those banned players that I'm going to play in the background here so you guys can see what a new or low-ranked player experiences when they meet a freestyler in game. Now, regardless of whether you agree with skill-based matchmaking in casual or not, it is an intended feature, and the abuse of it is against Rocket League's code of conduct and terms of service. Yes, smurfing isn't just a person who makes a new account. So with Psyonix clearing up the reasons for the bans, as well as stating their appreciation for the freestyle scene, there's no way anyone's going to try and justify the need to freestyle against new players, right? Right?
This game was meant to be enjoyed by all, not just some 7-year-old who just started playing the game.
Agreed. But your enjoyment should not come at the expense of the 7-year-old, especially if you have 6,000 hours of Rocket League. Though I do appreciate you recognizing that these changes are specifically going to help players like that.
If you didn't know a flip reset was even a thing, getting dunked on with one would be kind of helpful. Maybe give you incentive to try it.
No matter what I say, it won't change anyone's mind. People are still going to shit on freestylers despite us making the game look cool for you.
I love these "we perform a great public service" takes because it always feels like they're just on the verge of suggesting Psyonix should be paying them for this.
Now freestylers are playing in casual at 1,700 MMR and they can't even try once a game because of the bird-like flying maniacs. That's why we freestylers were so low. If you just get bumped, it's even more annoying than a silver getting clipped on.
Yes, by way of their own annoyance algorithm, this player has determined that smurfing actually creates the least player annoyance per minute. You can't argue with the science or the math. Also, I'm liking the new scary way to describe opponents like an aerial. Bird-like flying maniacs.
Okay, so if one person has a bad experience in rank because they lost, we need to ban the players on the team who beat them? Video games can't always be fun. If they were, nobody would play them.
Okay, wait, slow down. If video games were always fun, nobody would play them? What is this logic? Now, to be fair, I do agree that it's not your job to make sure an opponent has fun, but it is Psyonix's. Thus, you have the choice and ability to play how you want in casual, but not the right to do it at any MMR you want. That's all we're saying here.
Freestylers play in low MMR because playing in high MMR isn't fun and they can't play the way they want. This isn't harmful to the game at all and is not unpleasant for the players they're playing against.
Okay, hold up. How can you say high MMR isn't fun for you, yet when you style on lower players, it somehow isn't unpleasant for them? Now I know some people are going to say that these tweets don't represent the whole freestyle community, and that's true, but look how many likes this got. People agree with this take. This guy also adds on the fact that freestylers are a significant part of the player base, but it's been amusing to see that the freestyle community actually is unable to agree on that data. Yes, freestylers are the most active community Rocket League has, while at the same time making up just 2% of the RL scene. Oh wait, it's actually 50%. Or is it 0.1%? Nope, definitely 3/4 of the community is about to be banned. I don't even know anymore. Regardless, they do seem to think they have the numbers that would make strikes effective, or smurfing until most of the players are banned. I don't think they really got together to discuss specifics, but they sure do seem excited by the idea.
Us freestylers found the mechanics out by messing around. Look at ceiling shots and flip resets, now they are a huge thing in the comp scene. The game would be different without us finding these mechanics.
Right, I forgot. To smurf is a blood right passed down from their ancestors that discovered these mechanics. It's interesting to see these smurfing debates eventually turn into people trying to defend freestyling, when freestyling isn't the issue. The issue is the feeling of entitlement to clip on low-ranked players. You're not the lords of Rocket League, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll agree, freestylers helped popularize some of the moves we see in professional play, but it's incorrect to assume they actually discovered them all, and they definitely weren't found by smurfing on low-ranked players. Musty was just a gold in free play when he discovered the Musty flick. In fact, free play is probably the origin of a lot of Rocket League mechanic discoveries, but I'm not sure that's the conclusion they were trying to get us to come to. Alright, let's check up on how our low-ranked player is doing here. I think he's at least got a few ball touches so far. No doubt having an amazing time though, he gets to watch a freestyler. What a lucky guy. Well, if he isn't having fun, the freestyle community has the answer. He can just leave. Yes, as explained in this clip, I cut from one freestyler twit longer, and there was a lot of them. Sometimes, new players do not want to be freestyled on, but there is a way out. Yes, in fact, one player even made a nice tutorial to help us. Now, on a totally unrelated note, here's a few freestylers reacting to people following that advice. I don't even know what to say here, guys. You really can't complain about people making fun of freestylers if you hand them the material on a platter. Which brings me to a new literary genre known as freestyler fan fiction. This particular volume tells the intriguing story of how the freestyler bans and even the vote to concede button was not a company decision, but actually the actions of just one man, community manager Devin Connors. I'll spare you the details, but it goes on and on and on. Now, this post was not made by a prominent Twitter account or player, but you can see it got a lot of traction. Of course, if you have any common sense, you would already know that as the community manager, Devin is usually the mouthpiece and channel by which this information is sent out. Also, it should be obvious that a company like Psyonix would have multiple people involved in an investigation like this. But there is some good that came from this, as it spawned the winning entry for Most Ridiculous Freestyler Tweet, October 2022.
Great, then you should be able to produce documentation related to those meetings, including members involved, review methods, evidence for each decision, and additionally notes from any stand-ups associated.
We also didn't have to wait long for a fanfiction sequel, as Psyonix struck again on October 11th, and several more artificially low-rated accounts had their casual MMR raised to a level that was closer to their rank and skill.
Good job, Rocket League. This is literally impossible to freestyle in, especially when dashing. Plus I can't even win while tryharding. You guys put me against opponents miles better than me. Every freestyler is going to quit if you don't fix this.
Oh no, it seems like he ran into one of those bird-like flying maniacs we've been hearing so much about. Though it is strange, because I've been told that playing people better than you is both not unpleasant and actually inspiring. Shout out to Rocket Planet here for bringing the receipts. This is a Champ 3 complaining about facing diamonds and plats while not appreciating the irony of the whole situation. Come on guys, you gotta find better representation for your community than this. It's embarrassing. Over the last week or so, the freestyle community has played themselves on social media time and time again, which is kind of ironic because we've been asking them to play themselves in game for years. Now, this could have been a chance for discussion or change, but it's been repeatedly made clear they just want to style on noobs. And speaking of noobs, after being toyed with for 3.5 minutes of overtime, it seems this game has come to an end. Was it the bronze who forfeited, or the freestyler? It's impossible to know. But really, neither is a positive sign. If it was the freestyler, we just have another example of them throwing a game to keep their MMR low. And if it was the bronze, well, you saw how often they touched the ball. Do you think they had a great time? To finish off, I want to present to you my own personal observation about the freestyle scene, specifically the ones that need to hit clips in casual. To me, freestyling is like juggling. But somehow freestyler traditions have led us to the point where the juggling is only legit if there's a baby grabbing at their ankles while they do it. And this isn't just a freestyler requirement, I'm also talking to you viewers too. Of course, the baby has no effect on the juggler, but in order for us to be impressed by his skills, for some reason, the baby has to be there. Now some might say he should have to juggle while a grown man attacks him, aka score against his own rank. But I disagree. To juggle is a performance art that needs no opposition. It should be impressive and enjoyable for what it is, without the man or the baby. And in the spirit of this idea, I am teaming up with fellow content creators Woody and Frowsy Squirrel for an experimental freestyle clip contest. The catch? We'll only be accepting freestyle plays made against bots in a private match. A prize of $500 will be split among the top 3 clips, but if you want to support change in the Rocket League freestyle scene, I invite you to use the super thanks button at the bottom of this video and we'll add all donations received to the prize pool. Submissions close on October 29th, and for full rules and details, you can check out the announcement tweet that's linked in the pinned comment below. My name is Rocket Sledge. Thanks for watching.